Well, listen, I want to welcome everybody. My name's Joe Kinney, and I'll be leading you through this session today. It's called Introducing Command and Control. Command and Control is the name of our product that you'll be selling for us or with us. So today's the first day of the 3 days. Today we're going to talk about the product knowledge. Tomorrow we're going to talk about how to go to market, which is going to be marketing strategies, different things. We'll probably talk about social media. We'll probably talk about mailing programs. We'll talk about how to go direct to the consumer, new homeowners, building relationships with realtors. We'll talk about a bunch of different ideas for you for how to generate leads tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we're going to be talking about how to make the sale. Last week on our Thursday call, we talked about how to make a phone sale. This week, we're going to talk about a live in-home presentation. So a little bit different than last week. So if those classes are of interest to you, please come back for those the next 2 days. Also, this afternoon at 2:30 Eastern time, there's a 30-minute class on how to use our online portal to create and enter orders. So feel free to come to that. I also do that again on Thursday at 2:30 East Coast time. So those are all classes. And then if you're somebody who is in the business of hiring and training salespeople for us, whether you may be one of our dealer owners or a sales manager, every Monday we have a recruiters workshop that is also available to you, where we have a group of sales managers or sales management types who gather and we talk about different things. Next week we're going to be talking about on Monday recruiting ads, different types of ads you can run, what works, what doesn't work. And so I hope you'll be here for that. Okay, well, I'm going to ask everybody to mute themselves anytime you're not asking a question or making a comment. I'll let you just do that yourself. I trust you to do that. And I do want you to ask questions today. In fact, don't hesitate to interrupt me. Just say, hey, Joe, I got to ask a question, because this needs to be interactive. I really like it when you guys participate. It makes me think that we really got some value out of doing this live as opposed to just sending you a recording. So feel free to participate as we talk today. So introducing command and control. Command is the hardware and control is the interactive app that you download onto your phone or your tablet, or it's the URL that you would go to on a web-enabled computer. It's the ability to remotely control your system. So when you hear control, we're talking about the app. Command is actually the hardware, okay? And there's a picture of the command panel up on the wall. It's gorgeous. It's like a 7-inch iPad. Looks really good in today's modern decor. Fits in really well, and as you'll notice, it's a very seamless install. We do have to get power. That's the only thing we have to do, is we have to get a power wire to this. So typically what we do is we cut a hole in the wall. Yep, I know, it's fun. Cut a little hole in the wall, we drop the power wire down, and we normally will mount this above an electrical outlet. That way we can take the cover plate off, we can fish that power wire out, attach it to a transformer, and plug it in below. So you never see a wire running up and down the wall. So again, all of our technicians are professionals. They're highly trained and skilled. They do a nice clean install for our customers. Everything we do is wireless. With the exception of our cameras, everything operates off batteries. The cameras and the control panel all have to be plugged into electrical outlets. Everything else operates off of lithium batteries that typically last about 5 years. So the beauty of wireless installs is that we can put the equipment exactly where it needs to go, and we don't have to worry about messing up the customer's house, doing a lot of drilling. Also, it's a much easier install for our technicians. There's no running wires. Everything communicates wirelessly. So it's also nice when they want to add additional equipment. It's easy to add things to their system. And service is also very good. So anyway, that's a picture of what it looks like. We normally mount the panel somewhere close to the exit entry door. The exit entry door is the door in your house that you come in and go out of most often. So if you were to come visit me at my home, you'd probably come knock on my front door, right? But that's not the door we use. We use a door that leads from our mudroom out into our garage. That's our exit entry door. And so the panel is going to be located there at our home. And the reason we mount it close to the exit entry door is because that one door, we make sure we put a delay on that door. We're going to talk about door sensors in a minute, but we want to make sure there's a 30 to 45-second delay on the sensor on that door so that when you come in, you have time to get to the panel and disarm your system, okay? All the other doors in my house are going to be set for instant, which means if the system is armed and you walk in the front door or the back door, the instant you open that door, the siren's going to start blaring and the system's going to send a dispatch out to ADT's command center, letting them know that we have an event, okay? So we have the exit entry door is very important because that's the door that has the delay. When I come home and I open that door, I'll be greeted with a beep, 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 a little chime sound. And that just lets me know I have 30 to 45 seconds, depending on how I have that set. It can be up to a minute, but it just lets me know that I have time to get over to the panel, enter my 4-digit code, and disarm the system. When I leave home, I arm the system in the away mode, and what happens is I'll get that same beep, 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 beep sound, letting me know I've got that same amount of time to leave, close the door behind me, and now the system's armed. So that's why the panel is located close to the exit entry door, okay? Now let's talk about, on this next page, let's talk a little bit about some of the new features that we got when we started installing this system. This panel was released about 1.5 years ago, and it is a proprietary panel. ADT is the only people who have this. Resideo, who formerly was called Honeywell, they're the company. I'm getting a little bit of background noise there. If everybody could mute themselves, somebody might not be on mute. And yeah, there you go. Thank you. So Resideo manufactures this panel for ADT, so it's proprietary and only ADT carries it. Some of the features that you're going to want to know about and be able to communicate to your customers, first of all, is dual communication. When I first started in the business a little over 20 years ago, everything was done through a home phone line, right? So we would use the home phone line to send signals to ADT's command center in the event of an emergency. One of the problems with a home phone line, though, is it comes into the side of the house and it's very visible, and somebody can actually cut that wire. And so that was always a little bit of a challenge. Now we use cellular as our primary means of communication. And what I mean by that is there's a little radio built into that panel. And in the event of an emergency, that radio will send a cell signal using the cell towers in your area to one of ADT's 6 command centers, letting them know the type of emergency that you're having, okay? So cellular is very good because there's no chance anybody could ever cut the wire, right? Now, this doesn't have anything to do with your cell phone, and you can't use our cellular communicator to make a phone call. It will only dial ADT, and it's all part of what we offer you with our system. Now, in order to make it really secure, we also use the home's Wi-Fi network, and we tap into that, and we'll also send a signal through the broadband. So you got one signal going through cellular, and you got a backup signal going through the broadband. So you have a true dual path of communication. Now, most companies today, most of these self-install type systems that you see advertised, they're going to use Wi-Fi as their form of communication. And Wi-Fi, we use that only as a backup because Wi-Fi can be a little bit, at times your Wi-Fi can, drop out on you at your home. So we don't feel like it's a really good primary communication, but we like it as a secondary. We also like it because we can use the Wi-Fi connection to update your panel anytime there's a need for an update. See, the panel is just like a computer, and it constantly needs updates and fixes and patches, and even things like firmware updates from time to time. We do all of that over the air. So you don't have to worry about taking time off work, having a technician come to your home. We do that right over the internet because we're connected to your system. So that makes it very convenient for our customers. We also have built into your panel a speaker and a microphone. And this allows us to do several things. One thing it allows us to do is something called two-way voice. You see, in an emergency, when ADT receives a signal, an alarm signal from your home or your business, what ADT is going to do is something called one call verification. That's the very first thing they do. They're going to call the primary number associated with the account. Now, the reason they make that one call is because we realize that over 90% of all alarm activations are false alarms. And so we want to try to weed out those false alarms. ADT, along with all the reputable national alarm companies, have agreed to do this, okay? And this really, really benefits our first responders, keeps us from sending them out needlessly. It also is very good for our customers because some of you live in areas where there are false alarm ordinances in place. And so we want to try to prevent our customers from being fined for false alarm. So when ADT receives that signal, they're going to call you. You're going to answer and you're going to say, "Oh, it's a false alarm. My bad. I forgot to turn the system off fast enough," or whatever happened. And as long as you can give them your passcode, no harm. They'll turn everything off. Now, if you don't answer, understand ADT is going to treat it like a live emergency, and they're going to go ahead and dispatch the authorities. But if you do answer and you let them know it's a false alarm, we can avoid that from being a mishap. If you don't answer, or if you answer and you can't give the passcode, we're going to go ahead and send the authorities out. So that's how that works. Now, with that speaker microphone combination, if you want, we can activate that, and then instead of calling you, ADT just simply comes across and speaks to you right through your panel. Think about it as like being a hands-free telephone. Okay, so in an emergency, ADT can speak to you right through the phone or right through the panel. And this can be really good for certain types of people, like maybe an elderly person with a mobility issue, or maybe they can't get to their phone, maybe they've fallen. This would be a way for them to communicate. Or maybe a parent of a toddler who might have their hands busy during an emergency, but they could still talk to the ADT operator. Another thing that is helpful to know is that in an emergency, let's say you have a break-in and you're not home, because ADT is able to toggle in and speak to whoever's in the home. If they can hear things crashing or glass breaking or whatever, they can communicate that to the police when they dispatch, and that's considered to be a verified alarm event. And that tends to get the attention of the police, and they tend to respond a little bit quicker. So a lot of people like that part of it as well. So again, two-way voice is available because of that speaker and microphone that's built in. The customer just needs to let us know if they want that, and then we'll have the technician turn that on. Okay, it's not something they can turn on themselves, so it's one of those things where they need to decide up front if they want it. Some people don't like that idea. They're a little skeptical about somebody being able to listen in. But again, it will only allow ADT to listen in when there's an actual alarm activation. So keep that in mind. Okay, so that's a little bit about that. Now, with that speaker microphone, we also have the Amazon Alexa compatibility. So if you have if you have like the Dot or the Echo throughout your house, like I do, and you're able to use voice to actually arm and disarm your system, adjust your thermostat. If you have one of our smart thermostats, you can use it to control the lighting in your house if you have our lighting controls. Unlock the front door if you have one of our electronic door locks. So you can do everything by voice. And people really like that. So it is compatible with all of the Amazon Alexa devices. Okay. Encryption. One of the things that ADT was very insistent upon when they released this system would be encryption. They wanted it to be very secure, and so we have military-grade encryption. And for that reason, your cameras are going to be proprietary, and so you're not going to be able to use cameras like if a customer has existing cameras. If they're for another type system, we can't take those over because of the encryption feature. So just kind of keep that in mind. We can generally use existing security equipment if it was professionally installed by a professional company. We can generally take over existing equipment and add it to our system, but cameras are something we won't be able to do because of the encryption. One of the other things that was very important to ADT when they designed this was range. You see, when you do wireless sensors, you have range issues. In a house, because you have doors and walls and different types of construction material, range becomes an issue. So we now have 2.5 times the wireless range that we had prior to a year and a half ago when we released this product. So it really gives us the ability to do much larger homes and businesses because of that range. Also, ADT is currently working with some other home service providers to integrate their service. Rainbird is one of the first ones. They have a network sprinkler system for home irrigation, and you're able to actually, because we're integrated with that, you can actually, integrate their sprinkler system right into your ADT control app. So you can control your sprinklers right there if you have one of the Rainbird network sprinkler systems. ADT is working on relationships with companies that do things like electronic blinds and shades and some of the home music providers as well. So look for continued integrations from ADT with our control app. So these are just some things that I want you to be aware of. And for some of you, you're brand new in our business and you're going, wow, this is a lot to learn. Listen, I'm going to give you some resources. Today is kind of a high-level overview, so don't let this overwhelm you. I just want to make sure that you're aware of some of the features of the system. Now, on this next page, I want to point out to you that there are two versions of the video display. There's a 5-inch and a 7-inch. They both do exactly the same thing. The same size plastics, just the amount of the graphical interface. The 5-inch is what we consider our standard, and that's what we're going to install for you unless you tell us that you want the 7-inch. The 7-inch obviously costs your dealer more, so you're going to want to check with your dealer to find out if you need to collect additional money if you move to the 7-inch. But we consider the 5-inch the free panel. So I just want you to be aware there are two, and most people, I think 80% of the installs that we do go in as a 5-inch. Okay. Now, on this screen itself, one of the things that's kind of cool about the command panel is we have onboard help videos. You're able to go in there and type in a keyword, like if you want to know how to schedule your lighting controls, just type in lighting controls. And an on-screen video will pop up that will tell the user how to do that. So really nice feature that we've added to this. Okay, today we're going to talk about 6 residential packages, and we're going to talk about 4 commercial packages that you can sell. All 10 of those packages have as the core elements of the package the security component. Okay, and what you're looking at here is the free security system that we're going to provide to the homeowner or to the small business person. Everything you see in the picture, they're going to get for free. This is over $850 worth of value. We're also going to send a professional installer out to install it for free. The only obligation they will have will be a one-time activation fee of $99, and that's what allows us to connect the system to the local police, fire, and medical authorities through ADT, and they'll take care of the monthly service. But we're going to give them all the equipment for free. The monthly service will run anywhere from $45.99 a month for traditional up to $64.99 for our combination package. Okay, and we're going to go through those packages now. But just understand, all of them have the security elements that I'm showing you here. And I'm going to explain these elements to you here in just a second. Now, what you see in the picture there, of course, is the command panel. And you will also see that we have an ADT yard sign. We have 3 of the door sensors. That is a keychain remote. We don't always offer that keychain remote. Generally, we offer it with the traditional packages where the customer is not going to be downloading the app onto their phone. Mostly when they download that app on their phone, there's not really a reason for this. So we generally don't add this except with the traditional package. And then this right here is your interior motion sensor. The yard sign is your first line of defense. We call that deterrence. You see, when you put that yard sign out front, you're 10 times less likely to be broken into because people know that you're being protected by ADT. We also have some window decals that we'll put on your most vulnerable windows. But that's what we call the first line of defense, is putting a sign out front and putting decals on the window, letting people know that you're being protected. Let's face it, if you're going to break into a house and there's two houses next to each other, one's got a blue ADT sign out front and one doesn't, I think we both know which one we would target, right? So just having that sign out there, it's very likely that they will never have a problem. So that's your first line of defense. It's an important feature. Now the door window sensors, that's your second line of defense, and we're going to put these on all the exterior doors because we know that 95% of all break-ins are going to occur at the doors. And we know who breaks in. They're young people, generally between the ages of 15 and 25. They generally live within a mile of your home, so they know when you come and when you go. They're going to target you usually during the daytime when they think that you're not there. They're going to go to your most secluded door. That's normally going to be a back door. And they're going to kick the door in. That's how they're going to gain entrance. Make no mistake about it. They don't carry step ladders. They're not going to break glass. They're not going to crawl through a window. They're just going to kick the door in. It's just too easy to do. And when they kick that door in, they're looking for four things. They're looking for guns, jewelry, cash, and electronics. That's what they're looking for. They're going to grab what they can. They're going to take off. Now at your home, because we have one of these sensors on each of your doors, the instant that door opens, that sensor is going to send a signal to the panel and it's going to set that 85 decibel siren off. When that siren starts blaring, that creates panic and chaos. What our experience is when that siren goes off, they never enter the home. They turn and run. And the reason they do that is because they know they are seconds away from some neighbor next door hearing all this noise, looking out the window, trying to figure out what's going on, and they being identified. So although we can't guarantee you won't be broken into with our system, our experience is that the system will lead to minimal loss, generally just some damage to your door, okay? Now the way this door sensor works, it's a two-part device. That little part you see there is a magnet. We generally put that on the door itself, and the larger piece, the sensor, we mount that on the door frame. When the door is closed, those two devices are going to be adjacent to one another, and it creates a magnetic field. When the door opens, that magnetic field breaks, and that transmitter that's under the cover there of the sensor that's being powered by that lithium battery, that 5-year shelf life, that transmitter is going to send a signal right to ADT's, right to the panel, and the panel will dial out to ADT as well as set that siren off. So that's kind of how that works. Yes, you can also use these on windows. You know, it works on any type of an opening. Although I will tell you that, you know, a lot of people, get a little more concerned about the windows than they probably should. Most windows really aren't points of vulnerability. But if you do have a window you're concerned about, absolutely, we'll be glad to sell you an additional one. They cost $119. We're going to give you 3 of these free. That takes care of the front door, back door, and side door, which will cover most of your customers. But if they do have an additional door, you're probably going to want to sell them an additional sensor. They can buy additional equipment. They just pay for the piece of equipment, and their monitoring stays exactly the same. Okay, so that's how that works. Now you'll see my note there that there are other things that we can do with these. We can put these on cabinetry as well, such as a medicine cabinet. Let's say you have, let's say you've moved mom or dad in to live with you because they can no longer live independently on their own. You're at work all day, the kids are at school, and you have a sense that you need to supervise that they're taking their meds during the day. Well, you can put one of these sensors on the medicine cabinet, and we can set that up as a non-supervised zone, meaning it's not going to set off a siren, it's not going to call ADT, but it'll just simply send you a notification on your phone letting you know that the medicine cabinet opened. And so it's a way that you can supervise to make sure they take their meds. Or maybe you're a gun owner and you've got a gun cabinet and you want to be notified anytime somebody maybe goes into your gun cabinet. Good idea. Gun owners really like that. Or maybe you have teenagers, maybe a liquor cabinet. I mean, gosh, it wouldn't be any fun to be a teenager in today's world, would it? I'm so glad that when I was a teenager, they didn't have things like this, but it could be a really good way to supervise, right? So just keep in mind, there's a lot of creative things we can do with these contacts, and that creates an additional opportunity for you to make additional pieces of equipment, sell additional pieces of equipment, which typically leads to higher commissions for you as well. So we solve problems and we get paid for it. Works out really nice for everybody. Any questions you want to ask about the door contacts before I move on? Okay. The next device we have is called a motion sensor. And this is the third line of defense. This is in case for in the small chance that somebody gains entrance into your home through some method other than doors, we're going to set up this interior trap with this passive infrared set of beams, and it's invisible. If somebody was to walk through these beams, that would set off the siren and, of course, call ADT. Now, our technicians are experts at identifying the right choke point inside the home to be able to set one of these up. And so they'll actually place this. Most homes only need one. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to provide that to them free of charge. If it's a larger home and they feel like they need a second one, they can purchase these from us. They're $209 each, but we're going to give them that first one free. And they are pet immune up to 80 pounds, which means if they have pets, they won't set them off unless they're a larger pet. Now, my experience has been that people who have larger pets, they're going to typically confine those pets to maybe a certain area in the home when they're away. So as long as that's the case, we'll have no problem with the motion sensor. But if the pet has free reign of the home, even when the homeowner's not there, we may not use a motion sensor. We may substitute that for like a glass break detector or some other interior trap. But again, our technicians will make those decisions when they get there. For your purposes, you just want to know that we're giving us a backup to those door contacts, making sure that in the event someone was to gain access to the home, we have something else that will actually detect their movement once they get in the home. Okay? Any questions about the motion sensor? Now, the 4-button key fob remote, again, with so many people today downloading the app on their phone, it's probably not necessary, but with a traditional buyer, we would certainly offer this to them. It allows them to arm and disarm their system remotely. They do need to be within 300 feet of the panel. So the idea here would be they've gotten into their car, they're getting ready to go to the store, and they go, darn, I forgot to set my alarm. They're still within range. They could go ahead and just arm their system right there. Or maybe they come home and they want to go ahead and disarm the system before they walk in. They could just push a button. Now, again, you can do all of this with the app on your phone, but this is for somebody who maybe hasn't downloaded the app. There is also a police panic button that they could push and hold for 2 seconds that would set the siren off and would go ahead and dispatch the authorities. You know, maybe in a situation where they found themselves where maybe they encounter somebody they perceive as trying to do them harm, it would also give them that panic button situation as well. Okay. And again, they can buy additional ones of these for $109. We don't sell too many of these today, but it is available again for probably more for that traditional buyer. So let's go back to the traditional packages. So these two packages that I'm showing you here, this is going to be for somebody who probably doesn't have a smartphone. They're not going to download the app, so the app's not available with these two packages. This might be somebody who's retired, who's home all day anyway, so the need for a remote interactive connection is not really that important to them. Or it could be somebody who's just very price sensitive, okay? It might be for somebody who doesn't have internet access, okay? Because you do have to have internet access with our other packages. So this is more of a traditional buyer. We don't sell a lot of these, but I want you to be aware of it. The difference between the $45.99 and the $47.99, if you add any life safety equipment like our smoke detectors, heat detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, those are considered life safety. If you add that, then your monitoring is going to be $47.99. If you're just doing security only, then it would be $45.99. Okay. Again, we don't sell these a lot, but I want you to be aware of them. Any questions anybody wants to ask about this before I go to the next package?
Well, probably a silly question.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, as far as the battery life, I'm
Yes.
sure customers will ask us if they're going to get some sort of notification when their sensors.
They will. They will.
They will.
They will. And they certainly will. And that's one of the things I probably failed to mention. It's a great question that you asked. You know, with our connection through the Wi-Fi, not only can we do the over-the-air updates, but we also have the ability to do remote diagnostics, so we can let you know when your batteries are getting low. Or if you get a trouble signal, many times ADT can actually go dial right into your system, and they can actually troubleshoot a lot of things and maybe even do some of the fixes without having to send a technician. So this is really good for the customer experience. So yeah, great question. Thanks. Somebody else had a question.
I had a question as well. What kind of who do y'all use for your cellular connectivity? Verizon, AT&T, or who do y'all use for the cellular connection?
Yes. So we have two radios. One is AT&T and one is Verizon. And so depending on which tower we're going to be using, again, the technician has both. They'll make that decision, but we do use both. And there is a radio specific for each. Great question.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
One more quick question.
Yeah.
Isn't there's a 24-hour backup battery with the panel?
There sure is. Thanks, Justin. Yeah, so there's a 24-hour battery backup in the panel. So if you were to lose power, your system is going to continue to be operational for up to 24 hours. And then once the powers are stored, the system automatically recharges that battery, so it's ready for the next time you might have a disruption. Great point. Thanks.
And I also had a question. What if there's a natural calamity that, like, cyclone, and the power is off for 3 to 4 days? What happens?
Yeah, your battery is going to eventually run out. We say 24 hours. It may last a little bit longer than that, but yeah, you're going to be out of business after 24 hours. That's just the reality of electronics. So it's unfortunate if something like that was to happen. Now, some people have, battery backup systems, generators, things like that. But yeah, in the absence of that local battery backup built into your panel is really going to be good for 24 hours.
Can anything else charge those batteries?
Well, again, if you have like some type of a backup system, a generator, or you have if you have some other type of anything where you can plug the transformer into, then that's what you're looking for. So remember, we use a transformer because this is low voltage, but yeah, anything like that you'll need something you can actually plug in that would resemble an AC outlet.
Okay, thank you so much.
Now, Raj, I am not an engineer. I'm a sales guy. There could be some other, there could be some other ways to charge that, some other devices. I may not be giving you a satisfactory, or I may not be giving you the answer you're looking for. To my knowledge, though, without causing damage, those would be the things that I would know to tell you.
Sure,
So,
no problem.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, Joe, I just have a question. Because the equipment is encrypted, does that mean that they're not able to use it if they were to move to another house, or can they monitor their own system with the equipment that we give them if they don't have ADT anymore?
Yeah, so a couple of things you're asking there. Let me make sure I get them all. First of all, the equipment, if you were to relocate, you can simply take your equipment with you to your new location. You'll pay us a small fee to come out, and we'll reinstall it, and you'll continue at your new home. So that's definitely doable. In fact, if you've been with us for at least 2 years, when you move, we'll just tell you to leave your equipment where it is, and we'll just give you new equipment at your new location. Now we'll ask you to sign a new 3-year agreement, but still, we'll just put new equipment in new locations. So that kind of addresses maybe that part of it. Now, the other part of it is that you were asking was, what if I'm no longer an ADT customer? Yeah, this equipment is your equipment and it will make noise. It's an alarm system. It's going to work. It's just if you're no longer paying for your monitoring with ADT, then the system's not going to communicate with ADT. Follow what I'm saying? But it would still set off the siren. Everything will still work. Now, the third thing that you might be asking is, can another company use our equipment, like another national alarm company? The answer is no. This is a proprietary system, so they would not be able to reprogram it. But here's the reality of that answer. Most companies, including ADT, if we take over existing equipment, we're always going to replace the panel anyway with our panel. And all of the field devices that are already in the home, like the door window sensors, the glass break detectors, the motion sensors, we can use a translator and actually make that equipment work with our panel. So if you do sell to somebody who has existing equipment, there's a good chance we can also use the equipment they already have, but we would always replace that panel and keypad. Did I kind of cover all the angles on that question?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for keeping me hopping. Okay.
I had one quick question.
Great.
I just wanted to make sure I was understanding. So with the smaller packages like this, it doesn't require Wi-Fi, but they also do not get access to the app, right? Like the app wouldn't work with their system,
Correct.
but they don't need Wi-Fi. Okay. So
That's
it's
right.
kind of, all right. I just want to make sure I was understanding that.
This is what we call old school security.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. For someone that's not interested in the app and they don't have Wi-Fi, it's good. But other than that, people will definitely want the other packages.
Right. I mean, and again, this could be a price. This could be a price conscious person that's needing to get the lowest monitoring price they can, or it could be somebody who's home all the time, like a senior citizen type person, retired, and putting it on their phone wouldn't really benefit them that much because they're never going to go anywhere type thing. So anyway, those might be the situations. Again, we sell this very, very little, but it still gave me a chance to explain the package to you because it's going to be the same. In fact, let's go ahead and jump to package number 3, which is called remote. This is exactly the same equipment, but now we have the control app. So now we have the ability to turn the system on and off remotely. We can receive notifications on our phone. We can, we can check the status of our system. So now we have that interactive control and that ability to stay connected. Our most popular package, number 4, is Video Lite. Again, same $850 worth of security, but now what we're doing is we're introducing video. Okay, and this is really exciting times for people right now. People are loving the video components. Now, there's no home automation. There's none of the smart home system equipment here, but this is for somebody who wants to add video to their security. And so what we give them in this package is we give them their choice of a free camera. We have 3 types of cameras. We have an indoor camera, an outdoor camera, and we have a doorbell camera. Now, obviously, the doorbell camera is in the picture here because it's the one most people are taking. So for $63.99 a month, you're getting the same $850 worth of security equipment, plus you're getting a $289 doorbell camera. So now we're talking about over $1,100 worth of free stuff. All you pay is the $99 activation fee, allows us to connect you to the police, fire, medical authorities through ADT, and the monthly monitoring, which is about $2 a day, about the price of a cup of coffee. That's it. All the equipment's free. Now, with this package, you can also add additional cameras. So you can add up to a total of 8 cameras. You would buy the additional cameras. We're giving you the first one as part of your plan. Okay. All of our cameras have motion sensors built into them. So when they detect motion, they can record a video clip and they can store that video clip up in the cloud. You can access it right from your phone or your tablet or from your computer. Okay. We will allow you to store up to 6,000 clips per month in the cloud. Now I have two cameras at my house, a doorbell camera. Excuse me, you drink water. I have a doorbell camera and I have an outdoor camera on my back deck. If we have time, I'll show you my system live. We'll log into my system. But I have two cameras and I have never used more than 120 clips in a month. So 6,000 clips is way more than anybody would ever use. But I just want you to know that it will record video clips and store them in the cloud anytime it sees motion. So that's what we're talking about. And that's all included in your package, okay? Now, the thing that makes your doorbell camera so popular right now is not only can you see somebody at your front door, but you also have the ability to have the two-way audio, so you can have a conversation with them. And it's the only camera that we offer that gives you that two-way audio. So you can be at work, somebody can be at your front door, and you can carry on a conversation with them just like if you were at home. All of our cameras have night vision capabilities, so they see very well in low light conditions. And the doorbell camera even has a silent mode, so that let's say you have a sleeping toddler and you want to turn the doorbell chime off, you have the ability to do that right there from your phone. Okay. The outdoor camera sells for $299 and has all the same features: motion triggered, night vision. It's weatherproof. And typically the way we mount an outdoor camera is we're going to put it up under the eave of the roof, wherever they want to have that. Now I want to tell you about outdoor cameras. Well, first of all, the doorbell camera is very easy to install because we're going to take down their doorbell, and there's already two wires behind their doorbell that we can use to get power. Remember I told you all the cameras have to have power. When you do an outdoor camera, we got to get power to this thing. So the way we normally do that is we will run, we mount it under the eave of the roof. We're going to run the power cord up through the soffit into the attic. And that's generally where we go to look for power. Now, not everybody has an electrical outlet in their attic. So you need to ask some questions, because if they don't, they may have to hire an electrician to put an outlet up there. Okay, that's one of the challenges with outdoor cameras. We are low voltage technicians, so we can't run power. Okay. So just be aware of that. When you start selling outdoor cameras, two things you got to always be careful of. Number one, how we're going to power this camera, where we're going to get power. And number two, we cannot go more than 10 feet high. Our technicians work they're all solo operators. They work by themselves and they carry 4-foot ladders. So again, do not sell an outdoor camera that's going to be mounted above 10 feet or we won't be able to do it. And always make sure you know what the plan is for getting to a power source. So be careful with outdoor cameras. The doorbell camera is great. It's easy. We already have a power source, no problems. You start selling a lot of outdoor cameras, just know how we're going to get to that power and make sure you haven't sold them to be mounted too high. Indoor cameras, they're very easy because you can always find power for an indoor camera. Okay, they sell for $249. Again, good night vision, motion triggered. Okay, so I just want you to just be a little bit aware of the outdoor camera. That's just be a little careful with that. Also, you need to be aware of something else when you sell cameras. Don't go bananas. The more cameras you have, the more broadband speed, upload speed you got to have, right? There's no way I can tell you exactly how much upload speed you need per camera, because it depends on the distance that these cameras are away from the modem. It also depends on things like the construction of the house. All I can tell you is the more cameras, the more speed you need. So don't go crazy on cameras. Because what you don't want to do is set the customer up to be disappointed if they don't have enough upload speed. Okay, generally speaking, 2-3 cameras you're going to be fine, but as you start getting to the limit here, be careful. We can actually do up to 16 cameras with this system, but you're really going to want to make sure somebody has really got very high-speed internet if you're going to be doing that. Okay, so that's your cameras. So $63.99, you get your choice of camera. The other package we have, package number 5, is called Control, and this is for the person who wants the smart home devices, but they don't care about video. So same price, $63.99, and It includes one home automation device of your choice. Now, we have 4 types of home automation devices. We have thermostats, we have electronic door locks, the deadbolt lock you see in the picture here. We have 3 types of lighting controls. We have Z-Wave light bulbs, we have in-wall switches, and we have lamp modules that you plug into an outlet and you would plug a lamp into. And then we also have garage door opener controls. They mount next to your garage door opener and they allow you to control your garage doors. Okay, so those are our home automation devices. You get to choose one of those devices free when you choose this package. Now, the door lock tends to be the one chose most often. It's about a $300 device. So again, about $1,100 worth of free equipment in this package. What can you do with an electronic door lock? Well, first of all, you can go keyless, which means you're never going to get a call at work, somebody saying they left their key or lost their key and they need you to come let them in. You can just do it all from your phone. Everybody has wireless control. They can go right to the door and put in their code. Every time somebody locks or unlocks the door, that's stored in a log that's stored up in the cloud. So you have the ability to see what's happening at your house. Also, you have access control. Let's say you have a cleaning service. If you've ever had a cleaning service, you know that they are great for about 6 months, and then you generally have to replace them because they get slack. And when you go to replace that cleaning service, you got to get the key back, and that's always an awkward conversation. And then you wonder, did they make a copy for themselves? Well, get rid of all of those headaches. When you get rid of the cleaning service, just take their code out, hire a new cleaning service, give them a new code. And the beauty of it is you can set, if they're supposed to clean your house on Monday mornings, you can actually restrict their code to only work on Monday mornings. That way their code doesn't work any other day of the week or any other time. So it allows you to really have a lot of control. You can also create automations. Like at my house, I've got an automation that says anytime somebody puts in their code, go ahead and also turn off the alarm system. That way they don't have to unlock the door and get to the alarm system. Okay. Now, the reason I did that is because when we go on extended trips, we have one of our neighbors come in and they'll water the house plants, do things like that. And I don't want them to have to run from the front door to where the panel is. And I don't want them to have to remember 2 different codes. So I just have it set so that when you put in your code, it automatically turns off the alarm. When you lock the door back, it turns the alarm back on. Makes it really easy because they're the only people with a code to the front door other than the cleaning service. Another thing that, sure, yeah, go ahead.
So I realized, I realized that we're not going to be dealing with a whole bunch of high-tech thieves that are going to be hacking into our automated door lock here.
Right.
But if you've got a customer that asks that question, what is a good rebuttal to that objection?
If somebody's asking what question?
What sort of encryption is there on these automatic door locks to stop thieves from hacking into those to gain easy entry? I understand it's a silly question, but homeowners are going to ask.
Yeah, well, and again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you somebody can't come up with some kind of technological solution to hack into anything, right? But generally, it's not a problem. But somebody who's concerned about that might not be interested in one of our door locks, quite honestly. But yeah, the manufacturer, whichever one we're using, Yale, Kwikset, we use them all. They have pretty good high level of encryption on these locks. But again, is it 100% foolproof? Of course not. Nothing is. But neither is kicking. Neither is kicking a door.
So basically, you take away a little bit. Use a takeaway. Yeah, probably this isn't for you if you're that worried about super high tech burglars in your area.
That's right. That's right. And again, I mean, it's an honest answer, though, right? I mean, it's really what's true. So I think manufacturers are doing their best to try to combat those situations. But anyway, it happens. Hey, here's another thing I do with my door lock. I got it set up that if my monitored smoke detectors detect a fire, it'll go ahead and unlock the front door. And the reason I do that is if I'm away from home and a fire breaks out, I don't want the first responders to have to, kick my front door in, so I go in and unlock my front door. And, so those are just things automations that you can do. different things that you can do here. Pretty, it's a lot of fun that you can do with it. I've got it set up so that when you come in after hours and you unlock the front door, it automatically turns on the foyer light. Another example. Okay. So anyway, those are just some things that you can do with that. Now listen, the package that I hope you'll sell most often is this one, number 6. This is the combo package, video and automation. This allows you to do everything. It's only $1 more. And you get your door lock and your doorbell camera. You got $1,400 worth of free stuff. This is the one that you really want to be selling. Okay. And it also allows the customer to add additional home automation equipment. They can add additional video equipment. They can add life safety equipment. They can add additional security equipment. So it's really the package we hope you'll sell. Now, ADT only requires a $99 activation fee, but you'll notice over here that we recommend a $199 activation fee here to our dealers. It's up to the individual dealer if they want to do that. The reason we recommend that is because with all the additional equipment, and it's only $1 more, if you're going to keep your margins in place, you're going to need to get a little bit more money on the activation. So that's why you see that there. But ADT only requires $99, but we recommend to our dealers that they get $199 on this package. And it's worth it because you're going to get everything that you see in the package here. Okay. Now let's cover a couple of other devices really quickly that I didn't mention. Shock sensor. This is a device that you might find yourself selling if people have a sliding glass door. So if one of your 3 doors is a sliding glass door, one of the challenges is to put a contact on a sliding glass door. If they slide the door open, it's going to set the alarm off. But what if they don't slide the door open? What if they just take a baseball bat, shatter the glass, and step through? Well, because that frame never opened, the alarm's not going to be activated. So the solution to that is you swap out that door sensor, which cost $119. You swap that door sensor for a shock sensor and collect the $30 difference, because the shock sensor has a built-in vibration sensor that would pick up on the vibration caused by something striking the glass. Okay? So that would pick up on that vibration that would be caused. So we call it two-way protection when the threat is either opening or breaking. Okay, so a shock sensor is a great solution. It could also be used for a window where you're not sure whether they're going to break the window and crawl through, or they're going to jimmy it open. So anytime you got that either or, a shock sensor is a good solution. Whether you sell it as an additional device or you upgrade an existing door sensor. Also, these can be great if you have a room that has a fixed glass window on it, like it's just a big plate glass window. Maybe it's low to the ground, you consider it vulnerable, and somebody might break it and come through. Anything like that, that's where a shock sensor would come in. Okay. Smoke detectors, they're probably our #1 source of upsells. Now, you cannot sell these in a commercial setting because they're not rated for commercial, but for our residential customers, this is what takes a security system and turns it into a life safety system. Now, I know some of you are probably saying, well, gosh, they already have smoke detectors, Joe. Why do they need one of yours? Well, really, there's 2 reasons. First of all, early warning. And secondly, because they're connected. The smoke detectors in their house are not connected to anything. True, if they're home, they'll hear them in the event of a fire. But what if you're at work and you're not at home? And what if your pet is at home? Your smoke detectors aren't going to do you or your pet any good. So at least our smoke detector is connected to the system so we can alert ADT, who can send the fire department in the event of a fire. Also, it's important to note that whenever we read about a fire where there's a fatality, the medical examiners will normally tell you that generally the victim never heard their smoke detector go off, because by the time their smoke detector went off, they had already inhaled the fumes. See, when a fire starts in a house and all those synthetic materials in your house heat up, it emits a very toxic gas, and when you breathe that, it'll knock you unconscious. A lot of people never even hear the smoke detectors go off. You see, the smoke detectors that you have in your house, they're called ionization smoke detectors, and they're designed to detect a fast flame. Okay, but now the way a fire starts is it normally starts as a slow smolder, but it's not till it gets to the flame that your smoke detector is going to detect it. Okay, so the National Fire Prevention Association says you need both types. You need the ionization you have combined with the photoelectric smoke detector that we sell. Now, the photoelectric smoke detector, it is designed to pick up on the slow smolder. So it's an early warning device. In fact, if you go to YouTube and you just type in photoelectric smoke detector, you'll see there's a number of videos there where fire departments are testing photoelectric versus ionization, and you'll see how much faster the photoelectric goes off. So it's an early warning device, but it's also designed to be connected so that we can get the authorities there. So you really need both types. Now we'll generally put one in on each floor in addition to what they already have. So we don't take theirs down. Ours are redundant to what they have. Okay. Again, we cannot sell these in a small business. On the commercial, they're not rated for commercial, so we can't do small business fire. Our system is rated for commercial, but the smoke detectors are not. Okay.
Joe, I just have a quick question.
Sure.
Do you know whether or not having a system in general or specific equipment lowers a homeowner's insurance, possibly, where it would save them money one place?
Great question. Great point. In fact, we know that it will reduce, all the major national insurance companies will give you a discount on your insurance, your homeowner's insurance, if you have, and it's usually, here's the language you're normally going to see. It must be professionally installed. In other words, they're not going to give you one if you go out and buy one of these self-install systems like SimpliSafe. It has to be professionally installed and it has to be monitored. Okay. And in some cases, up to 20% off your annual premium is what we're seeing. So yes, that can go a long way towards offsetting the monthly monitoring costs that they have. So that's a great question, a great point. And a lot of times the discount will be greater if you have both fire as well as burglary protection. A lot of insurance companies will separate those two things, burglary and fire. And if you have, like one company I saw had 10% if you have burglary, 20 if you have both in terms of a discount. Now, I can't guarantee what any individual's discount is, but I'm just saying mostly what we're seeing is that they will get some type of a discount when they add that. And the reason is, quite honestly, it reduces claims. That's the reason insurance companies love us, because we reduce claims. If you come back to my class tomorrow, we'll talk about working with insurance agents, but they love us. And they're a great source of new business for you. We'll talk about that tomorrow in the marketing training.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. I'm actually an insurance agent too. And so that's why I was, but I don't do property and casualty. It popped up in my head because I do know that there's people in like California, Colorado, dry areas where the tree line and their fire risk has been brought up to 5 miles. It used to be if they lived within 2 miles of a tree line. Now, if they live within 5 miles of a tree line, some of these people's premiums are $10,000 a year for their homeowners insurance. So if they can save 20% by buying some of these simple smoke detectors and fire detectors, then for sure, that's great. Thank you.
Absolutely. And notice I'm always going to say up to 20%, because again, it may not be 20% in every area with every company. I just say it can be up to, most national insurance companies, homeowner insurance companies will give you a discount, some up to as much as 20%. So just be careful how you say that, because I wouldn't want somebody to come back and be disappointed. Hey, they only give me 5%. But, again, like you said, in some areas of the country, 5% still adds up to a lot of money.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Glass break detector. If you have a room that has lots of glass and it's considered vulnerable, in other words, the glass is a real vulnerability, one of the efficient ways to protect a room with multiple windows is by putting in a glass break detector, which listens for the sound of breaking glass. And generally, one glass breaker will cover the entire room. So rather than spending money for each individual window, like putting a shock sensor on each window, at $149, you can cover the whole room for $209. So a glass break detector, I just want you to be aware that there is such a thing. Okay, we're going to run out of time here. I don't know why. This has been, I think, well, you guys had some good questions maybe. But anyway, I want to get to a couple other things real quick. Right here, when you get my slides, by the way, everybody make sure you've written my phone number down and that you have sent me a text with your email so I can send these slides to you, because this slide's an important one. My phone number is 919-632-7156. 919-632-7156. I know we've had some late people join late, so I just wanted to get that back out there. Send me that text with your email and I'll send you the slides. But when you get this slide here, this is the URL that you can go to and test, kind of test drive the system, see what it would be like to be a customer. Okay. Here's the credentials for our demo system. So you can go in there and play around. You can turn lights on and off. You can lock and unlock doors. You can set the thermostat. So it gives you a chance to play around and see what the customer experience is like. Okay. Now, the best thing that you can do, the best investment you can make in your career with us is to become your own customer. Okay. When you buy the system, you're going to earn the commission. You get it less than anybody. So if you own a home, by all means, talk to your dealer about getting a system in your own home, because when you got your own system, you're gonna find yourself showing it to other people, and it's gonna help you sell. Some of you don't own a home, you can't get your own system. I get it, no problem. That's why I want to give you this so you can play around with this. Okay.
I had a quick question. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
On that, so we can't do any installs if people are allowed to install security, but they're renting or some other situation. Do we not do that?
We can if they're willing to pay for the 3 years of monitoring up front, but most renters aren't willing to do that.
Right. Okay.
We'll talk about it. We're going to talk about that actually a little bit tomorrow, or I think we'll talk about it. Well, probably don't. Yeah. So renter you can do, but they're going to have to pay the 3 years up front. So might work if somebody's a long-term renter, but generally speaking, yeah, because ADT requires them to be a homeowner in order to get the free equipment.
I have a question.
Sure.
I have the old panel where it's not computerized. It's actually the buttons you push.
Yeah, like maybe the Lynx 5000 or
exactly.
Something. Yeah. Okay. Great
now,
system.
Can I upgrade and become my own customer for upgrading, or you can't do that?
Are you currently being monitored by ADT?
Yes.
Okay. What you're going to need to do, because you're already with ADT, is call ADT and let them know that you want to upgrade to the new command panel and see what they would charge you for that.
Okay.
We can't touch an existing ADT customer because they're already under contract. They have to, if somebody says they used to be with ADT, they have to be gone from ADT for at least 3 years before we can, 3 years, at least 3 months before we can go in and do anything. So yeah, but if you work with ADT, they'll work that out with you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And that's a good thing to do, by the way. I had the Lynx system. I upgraded mine to command. And speaking about my system, let's see if I can let me see if I can bring up my system real quick. Give me just 1 second, and I want to see if I can. Where is it? Where is that rascal? There we go. Tell me if you guys can see this new screen that just came up. It's got a picture of a phone. Can somebody confirm that y'all are seeing this?
Yes, we got it.
Okay. I'm going to log into my system, and this is using the control app. I just want to show you around my system just to give you a little bit of a feel for what you're going to be looking at when you go into your system. So give it a second. Now I'm using the desktop version. I'm going to warn you, the desktop version is very slow. When I do this on my cell phone or my tablet, it is instant. But it is a little slow for whatever reason. And just to emphasize a point that one of you asked or made a point earlier, see right there, there's a notification that I've got a low battery on my front door lock. Now those batteries are actually, what do you call them, non-volt batteries. So I actually can change those myself on the door lock. I can actually change the batteries on anything myself, but the door lock are just regular standard non-volt for those. But can you guys see are you seeing the picture of the camera picture and everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so starting top right, system is currently disarmed. If I wanted to arm it, all I do is just click that button. So it gives me control there and gives me my status. Here's all the sensors in my home and what their current status is. Right here is my front door. It's currently locked. If I want to unlock it, I just click that. Going down to the bottom, here's my thermostats upstairs and downstairs. My left and my right garage door, they're both closed. Over here's my lighting controls. All those are off right now. I've got all my lights on schedules. Right here is recent activity. So you can see motion in my foyer was triggered 6 minutes ago. My wife's probably walking around 11 minutes ago. So that's the action that's going on in my house. And so it just gives you that kind of, so imagine being at work and you're trying to check out. I work from home, so I'm here, but you can see what that would be like. Okay, so you see all the controls that you have right there at your fingertips. Right here is your video. You got live video. I mentioned to you I've got a doorbell camera. I can check in at any moment live. I got live two-way look-in ability. Again, it would come up instantly on my phone when I touch that, but with the desktop, you got to go through this enabling the flash and all that, so it's a little clunky. Just bear with me for a second. I'll just let you see what the the view through the live view through my doorbell camera is. Give it just a second to load up here.
I think it's almost over, but
Sorry.
next time.
Yeah, we'll be good.
No problem.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Josh, go ahead and mute there if you would. Thanks. There we go. Let's see here. Like I said, this thing just takes forever on the desktop, but okay, there you go. So there's a live view looking out the front. You can probably see the little flag there moving. And so that's what your door, just gives you a view of what the doorbell camera looks like. Okay. Now, remember I talked to you earlier about 6,000 video clips. Well, you see, I live on a residential street, and as you can imagine, there's going to be a lot of motion going on here. You got people walking the dog, you got baby strollers, you got cars coming by. I don't want to record all that stuff. Really, all I care about is if somebody comes up on my porch. So watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to come down here and hit the settings, and I'm going to show you a control that you have on your cameras called video motion detection right here. Video motion detection. And what this allows me to do is create trigger windows that will trigger the recording of the cameras. Remember, I don't care about what goes on out there on the street. I just care about what goes on my front porch. So when this picture comes up here in just a second, sorry, come on, there it is. Okay, that's that same picture, and I know this is small, but you probably see these little windows here. Something has to come through those windows before it'll trigger my camera. And drawing one of these windows is just as simple as just choosing which window you want, and you just come in here and you just draw it with your cursor or your finger, and you just draw the box. So unless something goes through one of these boxes, the camera's not going to record. And that's how I only get the recordings I want to see. I mean, I don't want every time a car rides down the street, I don't want that. I just want the ones I want. So if you ever hear somebody say that they're running out of clips, there's a good chance that they haven't, they haven't set things up. Now, our technicians will normally help them set this up, but sometimes things need to be adjusted. So I just wanted you to know that, that's what we have here. All right, let's go back to the home. And let's go back to the doorbell camera again. You'll also notice I have saved video clips. So all my video clips save right here. So let's just give you an example of what a video clip might look like. Most of my video clips are set for like 15 seconds, 30 seconds max. Let's see what we got here. What time is that? Okay. Last night was Sunday night, right? Tuesday. Oh, Monday night. We did takeout last night. We normally do that on Sunday night. We did it last night too. So let's just see what happened when the takeout person showed up. There you go. So it gives you an idea what a video clip would look like. Had some of the best tacos I think I've eaten in a long time last night. They were awesome. My apologies to those of you who are here on the East Coast and it's lunchtime. Okay, so anyway, all your video clips recorded right there. Let me do one more thing on here. Two more things real quick. I also have an outdoor camera. I'll just show you the view of the outdoor camera. That's on my back deck. So this is outdoor camera. And I can do a split screen and see both cameras at the same time, you know, if you want. I mean, do all that kind of stuff. Now, I'm going to go to the settings menu and I want to show you geofencing. Geofencing, called Geo Services here. This allows you to get reminders automatically anytime you're not home. So if you see the picture here of the map, this is where I live. I have set up a 1 mile geofence around my house. There's my phone, there's my wife's phone. If both of us are away from home, the system knows that we're gone. And once both of our phones leave that 1 mile radius, the system says, okay, they're no longer home. And at that point, if I have forgot to arm my system, I'll get a text saying, don't forget to arm your system. If I've got to lock the front door, I get a text. If I forgot to, close the garage door, that's a big one. I'll get a text. If I forgot to move the thermostat back to the energy saving mode from the comfort mode, I'll get a text. If I left on a light, so your system will automatically interact with you when it sees that you're away. By the same token, I can set it up to automatically do things when I come back in here. Now, some people will set up a second fence around their kids' school. If you have kids who carry cell phones and you set up a fence around their school, you can actually get a notification on your phone when they get to school, and you get a notification when they leave. That's kind of cool. If you go work in an office, you can set up a fence around your office. And maybe when you get ready to leave the office, you get an automatic reminder saying, don't forget to to bump your thermostat up. You're on your way home. Move it from the energy saving daytime mode to the comfort saving evening mode, things like that. So Geo Services gives you a lot of really cool things that you can do there. Automations is where the customer is going to go in order to set up their rules. Like, I've got rules in here. Anytime you unlock the door using the user code, automatically disarm the system. That's a rule. I told you about that one. Here's a rule. Anytime there's a fire, turn off the thermostat. Turn off the HVAC system. I mean, you don't want the fan blowing if you got a fire. Okay? So those are just examples of rules. I also have schedules for my lighting controls. You know, like this right here. This is my left garage door light. That's the light, you know, the lamp outside the garage door on the left. I got one on the left side, one on the right side. They're set to come on at 7:30 at night. So it lights up my driveway and goes off at 10 o'clock at night. I've got a table lamp that comes on at 5:30 and goes off at 10. The reason it goes off at 10 is because sometimes we have guests, and I want that light going off at 10 to signal to them it's time for them to go. I even have a floor lamp in case they don't get the hint on the first time. I want to make sure guests know when it's time to leave. So yeah, you can do all that stuff, you know. So cool. So anyway, you're going to go in. Let me minimize. Oops. Okay, so you probably lost everything there for a moment. I'm going to bring back the slides. Okay, we should be back on the slide mode. Right, back on slides. Somebody let me know you can see the slides. Yes?
Yeah.
Perfect, thanks. Okay, so play around with the demo system, get familiar with it. Now, that's not what you would necessarily use for a customer demo. This next slide, this is the demo you want to download onto your tablet for demoing the system to a customer, okay? This is the alarm.com app. You go to Partner Mobile Sales, wherever you go to download apps. You can only find this and you can only download it on a tablet. You cannot do this on a phone. So hear me when I say that. This will not work. You won't even find it if you go to the App Store on your phone. It has to be on a tablet, okay? But this is a great app to download. It has pictures of the equipment. It's got an interactive home. It's got some videos. It's an awesome app for demoing this to the customer. Now, some of you maybe don't have a tablet. That's something I'd really recommend you get. But if you don't have a tablet, when I send you the slides today, I'm going to send you the marketing slicks. It's 7 PDFs or 7 high quality PDFs that you can put on your phone or print them and put them in a notebook. Pictures of the equipment, things you can use when you're demoing to the customer. So I'll include that with the slides that I'm going to send you today. Okay. There are 4 commercial apps packages starting at $49.99 for what would be called the traditional, meaning there's no app. If you want the app, that's $51.99. If you want the camera, that's $57.99. And if you want the video and the automation for small business, that's $62.99. These rates are a little bit less expensive than the residential rates, in case you're wondering why. With commercial, you don't get the extended limited warranty that you get with the residential packages. Built into your residential packages is the extended limited warranty that says if anything goes wrong in the first 90 days, we'll be totally responsible. We cover all parts, all labor, all trip cost. After 90 days, and for as long as you have your system monitored by ADT, you'll only pay a $25 trip charge anytime you need service. We cover all parts and labor for as long as you have your system. So we have that built right into our monitoring plan. So there's never going to be a surprising repair bill. You need service, you pay 25 bucks, we come out. If parts are needed, we cover that, we cover labor. So that's built in. Don't get that with a small business. You're going to pay for service with small business, okay? So that's one of the differences. Okay, well, was this helpful today? I covered a lot of information. Was this helpful?
Extremely helpful.
Justin, Justin, come off mute here. What was most helpful for you today? What's something you learned today?
Yeah, I mean, I really just, the thoroughness and everything, how we're covering all aspects. Whenever we're approaching customers and we're demonstrating our product for them, it makes it easy to use kind of an assumptive conversation with them. Yeah. Because they're going to see the value of all this stuff that's intertwined together. There's a lot of good stuff that was pointed out all the way through it.
Hey, one thing I'm going to send you folks today that you just made me think about is I knew if you'd start talking, I'd start thinking, Justin. So thanks for that. But one thing I'm going to send you is I'm going to send you a link to a 3-minute and 18-second video on YouTube of the Property Brothers walking through this system. And you're going to say after you watch this 3-minute 18, you're going to say, I wish Joe had just played that video. We wouldn't have had to listen to him for an hour and a half. And the Property Brothers are much better looking than he is. And but this 3-minute 18-second video is awesome. If you take that video and you play that for somebody, that's going to do a lot of the work for you. And when you're brand new, it might be helpful. As a matter of fact, tomorrow we'll talk about talking to your friends and family. I highly recommend you send them this link. I'm going to include it with the slides today. Send them that link and say, watch the video and then tell me what you're interested in, because they do a great job in 3 minutes of walking through it. I also want to encourage you to spend some time on YouTube, type in ADT command, and you'll see a bunch of videos on the different products, and they'll be, they'll go deeper into it than I could do today in our 90 minutes together. So I want you to keep learning. The best way to learn about the product, honestly, is to show up at your first install and just, show up, get some bagels and a cup of coffee for the technician, and just ask them if you can just kind of hang out. And you watch them work, and you're going to learn a lot about the product just watching the technicians install it. You do not have to know much more than what I showed you today in order to sell this. Don't feel like you got to become an expert before you can start talking to people, but also don't feel like that you're going to ever reach the pinnacle of success if you don't invest time learning about your products. And there's no limit to how much stuff's available online through ADT that you can study. So today was really just designed to get you oriented and get you started. Okay, so hopefully we were able to accomplish that. Now listen, in order to get all the free stuff I'm talking about, you got to make sure that you text me your email address, because if you don't, I won't, my memory's just not going to be good enough for me to remember who all was on this call. So make sure you text me with your email, 919-632-7156. Anybody have any last questions? We got 2 minutes. Anybody want to ask another question before we wrap up about anything? Joe Basso, was this helpful to you today? Basso.
Very, very helpful. Absolutely.
Okay, good. Anything in particular you picked up on that was helpful?
Okay. I think having some of the newer reps on the call today, I think that competence leads to confidence, and you can't be confident unless you know your products. So getting a step-by-step, play-by-play onto all the different types of equipment, I think is extremely valuable. And even for myself, newer to the home security field, I can't wait to really dig into this presentation and start memorizing all this information. So thank you.
You bet. And you guys have got, Tyler, I know you're on the call and you have a lot of experience in our industry. So you guys have a good expert right there in the house with Tyler on because again, even though the equipment brand might be different, it might be a little bit different from what Tyler has done. I mean, the equipment basically does a lot of the same things, but anyway, yes, and take advantage of this class if you have new people that you want to send them to get the overview. Again, you can never really have too much information on this. So very good. Christina, last person. Was this helpful for you? Christina, was it helpful?
It was very helpful. I feel like I got a lot of information that I'm going to use for sure. And I feel more familiar with it.
Good. Well, come on back tomorrow. We'll talk about, getting started and finding some people to talk to. And then on Thursday, we'll talk about how to actually do the presentation, how to build value, because it's one thing to know what the products do, but it's a whole nother thing to build value. See, people don't care who makes the equipment and how it works. I tried to explain a little bit of that to you folks today because you need to learn that, but that's not how, what we did today is not how you sell it. The way you sell it is you focus on what their pain points are, their problems, what the opportunities are, and then you talk about what the product does, not how it works. Okay. So remember the difference between a salesperson and a technician. We focus on solutions, not on how things work. Because people really don't care how a motion sensor works. A guy that trained me early on said, when I asked him, well, tell me how a motion sensor works. And I was really referring to the technical part of it. And he smiled and he said, it works great. and it was a good lesson for me. Customers really don't care about a lot of that. What they really care about is, what's it going to mean for me? And so we're going to talk about that Thursday when we talk about the in-home presentation. Well, listen, you guys have been great. Thanks for being with me today. Look for some slides and things from me later this afternoon. And thanks for being here. Everybody have a great rest of your day.